Today we're going to talk about how to make a muskrat float. Alright, so you're going to want to start out with a 2x6, and what this is going to be for is this is going to be the bottom section, and you can really make it any size you want. Let me grab the trap here. I'm using Duke 1.5s, and from the outside of the jaw to the very end of this dog is about 5.5 inches. And then this is 1 3/4, so that's 3.5 if you have 2 of these, because they're going to go on here like that. So that is 9 inches total. And I made it 9 1/4 inches just so we have a little bit of wiggle room here. And then I'm going to cut these 2 pieces off, and then we'll get to our next piece. We're going to be using a jigsaw for this cut, just because it's really convenient. Warning you right now, if you have a microphone on you, you're definitely going to want to turn it down here. This thing is a little bit loose. Now we're going to extend this and cut again. Now, and if you didn't know, the jigsaw has 1, 2, 3, and 0. Essentially, the higher the number, the rougher the cut. Essentially what that does is this enables this part here to move back and forth more, and it cuts a lot faster. I have it on the 1 setting, and it does take a pretty long time, I mean relatively speaking, but I find if I go on 2 or higher, I don't get a very straight cut. Alright, not exactly the straightest, but it'll suffice. So we got our pieces here. And now we're going to decide how, we're essentially going to decide the distance between these two by deciding how long we want this section here to be. Okay, so I'm going to use this piece to connect these 2 pieces, and this is going to be my first year trapping, so I'm not sure if the muskrats are going to climb up on like this section or if they're going to try to climb on the top section, but I want them to be able to climb onto the top section so they can hop down onto the traps. I'm not sure which section they'll climb onto, but typically the top section is a 2x4. I have a 2x6. I'm just going to cut it down to the correct length, and then I'm going to cut it down to the correct width. So I'm going to flip the sun around here. Now I'm sure a jigsaw is not necessarily meant to do to cut with the grain, but I mean it works. I'm not going to put this on a table saw just for that one little cut. Alrighty then. I'm just going to cut this little section off since it's not good for anything. Alrighty then. That's looking pretty good there. Now if we bring you guys back over here, so this should be, so this is, wait a moment. Yeah, I cut this wrong. I think it's supposed to be 3.5 inches, so I'm not sure where I went wrong. I only took 1 inch off when I should have took 2 inches off, but I'm gonna cut this again, get it down to a 2x4. Alright, so instead of putting it on a table saw, I'm just going to cut it like so, and then flip it around when I get about halfway done. So, yeah, not perfect, but... So... These should be 5.5 inches, so we should have 11 inches plus the 2x4. 11 inches plus 3.5 would be 14.5 inches. So we're going to need this to be 14.5 inches. So we're going to measure this out and make our cut. Plus 14.5 would be 29. And then we'll get you guys around so you can see the cut again. Alright, now we should be able to start screwing stuff together here. Let's get you guys facing over here. Alright, so you're gonna start screwing it together. I'm just using 3-inch wood screws, and that should go, you know, almost the way to the almost all the way to the other end. And I'm using about 2 on each side of the 2x6 to hold it together pretty good. There we go. Now, we're going to screw on this section. I'm just going to use 1 wood screw on each side of the 2x4 to secure this down. Make sure that's pretty centered. Might go on each side of it here. And if we grab that other wood screw here, switch things over. There we go. So, you're going to put your trap right there, and then you're going to have, you're going to secure your float set with a wire, you know, cordage, anything to the shore. And you're going to take wire, you probably have a hook on the underside of here, and some kind of, you know, wire or something. Wrap it around this, So that way the trap goes off, the animal goes over, and they drown. It dispatches them right there. So, now that is how you make a float set. So I almost forgot that you gotta have a screw poking through the middle that you stick an apple on his base. So we're gonna put that last screw in. And obviously it doesn't have to be dead center or anything, just around there. There we go. Take it further. There we go. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say this is very crappily done, and it's not the best job, I guess. It's not the best done, but I did use a jigsaw. I didn't use a miter saw. You know, I didn't use a table saw. So, granted, it could be a lot better, but this is just with a jigsaw. So, there you go. Alright, and so the final result, you can see here, it's not exactly the finest quality build. However, I did not use a miter saw or a table saw. So if I were to use that, because this one piece ended up being 5 inches and the other piece ended up being 5.5, just because I was using a jigsaw and it wasn't being all that precise with the measuring. However, if you were using I wasn't using a miter saw, I was using a jigsaw. If you used a miter saw to cut the pieces, you know, and you already had a size in mind, like if you already knew the dimensions, you could have made it faster and more precise than I did. However, this was just thrown together, and a muskrat is not going to tell the difference between, one built, quickly and not very well, I guess. Although it works. A muskrat's not going to tell the difference between a super well-built one that you spend a lot of time on and one that was quickly thrown together. Ultimately, it just needs to be this shape, something that floats, something you can put an apple on it and have the traps on it. So, thanks for watching. If you found this video educational or entertaining, please leave a like and subscribe, as it would help me to grow the channel and continue to do projects like this.